itsmintsalad and I saw Meet the Feebles. It is directed and written by Peter Jackson. And if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This was requested by Patreon. If you'd like the fast track movie review, you can do that at patreon.com/ASEPresents. On with the review. This movie starts and we're meeting our cast to the Feebles. We're meeting the Feebles. And immediately, this has a much darker tone than I anticipated. We have the entirety of the crew is either doing some sort of sexual degenerate thing, or they're doing some sort of drug, or a combination of the two. And we also see a couple of new guys, and their introduction to this weird, dark world that this place is. Like, wow, how could the puppets, are they puppets? I mean, they're animals. Muppets are not Muppets. Is Muppets trademarked? I don't know. Anyway, these puppets, they're incredibly dark and they look scary. The first thing that I think when I open this movie up is, what am I looking at? We got the lead star is a pig, all right. Then we have a walrus as the boss, and the boss and the lead star are sleeping together, but the walrus is also having sex with another person. This is adultery, and I'm just thinking maybe the only reason why Heidi, which is the pig's name, that's her name, why Heidi even got the role in the first place is that she's been sleeping with their boss, Walrus Man. And so I'm just like, oh, there's a lot of weird things going on. This must be some sort of satire or something. Like, this entire movie is just surrounding the production and just little bits of what happens with each character. Like, there's this frog who's super addicted to smack, but he doesn't have any, and so the entirety of the movie he's like, man, I want some smack. Where can I get some smack? Oh, it costs $50 to get smack. How do I get $50 to get smack? Well, there's a new guy. He's like easily gullible, I guess. He's gullible, he's easily duped. Let's make sure that he gives me $50 and then I give him nothing in return. And instead I get some smack for myself. And I'm like, terrible deal, but I guess take advantage of the newcomers while you can. They're not gonna give you money again. But also, I find it fascinating that the types of people behind the stages, and also the types of people like the other actresses, they are so mean. And I mean incredibly mean to Heidi. Like, oh, she's fast, she's jogging. First of all, why are you jogging? You're just gonna cram all your other stuff, all your other foods into good old cake, depression eat. Oh no, I ate all my food. I'm sad. Oh, no one gets me. Stuffing her face. Like, no one gets you. No one gets the need to eat constantly to quell your feelings, I guess? Is that what's going on? This movie is weird. I'd say each character is its own plot, so there's A plot, B plot, C plot, D plot, A through Z plot. There's just so many plots going on through this movie that's really hard for me to keep track of all of them, but there are some notable ones. Like, for example, there's this bunny man who has a lot of sex, and then there's this fly reporter guy who's like, hey, bunny man, I'm gonna taunt you, and then this bunny man gets an illness. This fly man's like, oh, it's sexually transmitted. You have this dangerous disease. It's the worst one. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's got AIDS. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, we gotta contact your sexual partners within the last 12 months. Well, that would be 365, sir. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. You probably spread it to everyone. And you have the fly man be like, oh, I'm learning all of this. I'm gonna spread this to the press. I'm gonna spread this everywhere. And I'm like, whoa. This movie is interesting. I mean, there's some weird times during maybe the first third of the movie. The second third of the movie is pretty much just the same. It's establishing all the connections that make the third act gross, and also, yeah, I guess it's impactful. It's a little bit impactful. Okay, everyone's trying to prepare for the Meet the Feebles musical show. Then you can get it syndicated or whatever. And we have the Walrus Man doesn't actually like Heidi. And so pretty much everyone's hating on Heidi. Heidi feels bad about herself and she's like, oh, I'm so sad. Meh, meh. And then it only takes the Walrus Man to be like, all right, let's have sex. And then she's happy again. I'm like, man, you gotta really take care of your emotional state, lady, man. The show must go on. And of course, I feel like the Walrus Man did this simply so the show would go on. But he hates her. He hates her. And only just wants to be with this really small, petite cat, I think. I think it's a cat. It's whatever. It's small. It's a small animal. It's not a pig. It's not massive. So, of course, this guy's like, I just want to get rid of Heidi, but whatever. The show must go on and the TV show will be syndicated. And so they have this whole performance, and a lot of things go wrong. Bunny Man. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Sick. Throws up everywhere. On the stage. It's like Blue Man Group. Wow, man, there was a gag. I can't remember where. Maybe it was a Tosh.0 gag, where it was like a Blue Man Group skit, but instead of like something, it was vomit everywhere or something. It was like in reference to a specific clip that they played. I don't remember which TV show it was, but it existed. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below, because it was on TV. I remember seeing this on TV and being really, really grossed out. I was like, why are they vomiting everywhere? I don't want to see this. But of course, this scene reminded me of that memory that I have. So let me know in the comments if you know what I mean. Anyway, so we have this guy is sick and he goes, oh. And of course, because this guy is sick, we have a man who's like, hey, go fill in for that other dude. And there's this guy who desperately has to piss, and he's like, oh, haha, hello guys, hi, hoo-hoo, oh, I have to leave now, bye-bye. And then he pisses all over a guy. The guy's supposed to be on this stage. It's disastrous. And then Heidi sings, she goes sing, ah, you know, that's cool. But then, Walrus Man, like probably during the intermission or whatever it's called, it's like, I hate you, you suck, you're terrible. And I'm like, why couldn't you say all these things after the show, after you're away from her? Like, get away from her line of sight before you do any of this, please. But no, he decides to just tell her flat out right, I hate you. And I'm like, dude, don't do that. You wanna know what happens? The next thing happens, and I'm like, this is probably the coolest part of the movie. I just wish there was a better setup to this third act in this movie, because the third act could have been way cooler if it was set up better. But because of the way it was set up, it was just introducing so many characters that how could I remotely like any of them? There's too many of them for me to even care about remotely. But of course, Heidi's like, I'm sad, I'm going to hang myself. Oh man, well, you know what's really funny? During rehearsals, she's too fat. And so she's too fat. And you're like, what are you doing, dude? You literally have a cherry in your cleavage. What? I told you not to eat the day of the show. She's like, I'm depressed, you don't get me. And I'm like, but the art. Lady, do you not understand? This is very weight specific. If it's more weighted or less weighted, the thing won't work the same. Come on, man. But of course, she tries to hang herself. She's too fat for that. So she has a gun, she's about to shoot herself, and there's a person who really hates her. She's like, oh, do it. I'm like, why would you say that to a person with a gun? They're going to turn the gun on you. And that's exactly what happens, and this inspires Heidi's shooting spree. I hate you all. And I'm like, bro, chill out, but I get it. Okay, Heidi, you did it. You killed everyone except for like 7 people. And out of the select 7 people, only one of them had a happy life. And that was the new guy and the new chick. By the way, the new chick almost got raped when the new guy was like, hey, what you doing? Hey, I thought we were engaged. Come on. And you know, the good old classic, oh wow, I saw you kissing another man. I walked in at the wrong moment. You know, that trope that constantly happens in media. And I'm just like, why don't you talk it out, man? Just talk it out. But of course, things get cleared up later on. And so they get married and have children. And then everybody else who survives, which is not much of them, don't really do much. You know what's really funny? Heidi goes to prison, gets out of prison, and now she's working at a register. And I'm like, did you plan on your life going this way, Heidi? I am so curious. You know, this movie is just weird. I don't know what to feel about it. On one hand, I'm like, you know, I appreciate the satire aspect of it. I appreciate the degenerate part of this. I like seeing the so deep of degeneracy just in performances, in the entertainment industry, right? I like this. It makes me happy. But on the other hand, the puppets just creep me out. Like, it's hard for me to like this film because the puppets alone just look weird. And honestly, the only copy of the film that I could find, since I couldn't find it on streaming anywhere, was just really dirty, gross looking version that I found on YouTube. Partially restored, whatever that means. What do you mean partially restored? Was it somewhat decayed and then you restored it from that? Isn't that just restoring it? What is partially restoring something? Maybe you tried to restore it, but you couldn't restore it all the way. But at what point, what is the restore line? Like, whatever. Minutia, who cares about minutia? Who needs it anyway? So this movie is weird. If you ever have heard this movie, let me know in the comments below. I was alright with the movie up until they started doing the body humor stuff, and I'm like, you know, I'm not really a big fan of body humor. I get it. It's supposed to just demonstrate that the show is being ruined. Incredibly ruined. Everything's going wrong, and he still gets syndicated for the TV show. And then, oh, we're gonna cast a slimmer chick, and I'm like, good, you should probably do that. But that's why Heidi goes on the killing spree. She gets told some bad news, and that walrus man hates her. And I'm like, I am so curious as to how you even got in the position in the first place. Were you skinny at some point? I cannot imagine you being skinny at some point. Also, Heidi boobies. I saw some boobies and I was like, wow, I do not like those. How could you do boobs wrong? Man, how could you do boobs wrong? How? They just look trashy. They look terrible. I hate them actually. I saw them like, oh wow, nice. But then I was also like, wait, actually they don't look that good. I wish I wasn't looking at these. I never was curious about what the Heidi's tits looked like. But now that I saw her tits, I don't want to see them again. I just want to erase them from my mind. So I guess I'd give this movie overall a solid 5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want a fast track movie review, you can do that for $20. Dino is a patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to the link tree. Find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So go here. And until next time, mint salad saw. I'll see you later, my sad croutons and bacon bits.